Town, from everywhere, they're coming. They're the people's choice, the Saxon Superstars.
Hello? Who's in the morning?
Yeah, yo, George, we're finishing.
10 a.m., firefighters who are notified of a fire at Pink Meadow Road, off Bellows Road, in the Carmichael area. Firefighters responded and on arrival met a shanty town consisting of multiple wooden single-story structures totally engulfed in flames. Firefighters were able to bring the blaze under control within a relatively short period of time. We presently have on scene fire investigators along with crime scene investigators who have commenced work into this particular incident to see exactly how this fire started. And that is what we know thus far. I can also say to you that there were roughly over 20 homes in this particular area, and an estimated 50 people have since been displaced. Our agency, we have reached out to social services, and so we're presently awaiting their arrival so that they can assist the displaced persons in resuming normalcy in their lives at this particular time.
Any deaths, injuries reported at this time?
We don't have any death or any injuries reported at this particular time. And of course, if you listen behind us, you still hear explosions in the background. However, the fire has been contained. Everyone thus far is safe. Fire officials will remain on scene until the blaze is completely brought to an end.
Residents would have complained about the response time of officers. They would have said that an officer allegedly said that let it burn as firefighters try to out this blaze. What is your response to all of that?
Firefighters responded. They responded with 3 units, all of which were filled to capacity with water to be able to fight the blaze. Initially, when I arrived at the scene, I heard persons who were actually complimenting the firefighters on their response time and the fine work that they did in bringing this fire underneath control within a short period of time.
Yes, for these residents, they're now completely displaced. How if they're stopped in a immigration raid or something like that, they don't have any documents to present. What can happen to that?
Well, at this time, of course, immigration maintains records and files, and so once persons would have had their papers, they can go back to immigration. Those papers would be filed, and they would be able to provide them with a copy of their documentation. At this time, we're not focusing on documents right now. We're focusing on saving their lives. They are also human beings, despite what may be going on in Haiti at this time. And as a country, we have an obligation to ensure that their basic welfare needs are met. And that is what we're doing at this particular time. And as I indicated, social services is on their way here, and they're going to assist from that aspect. In the meantime, we will continue with our investigations from the fire department.
Now we're going to look at the right to freedom of peaceful assembly. Freedom of peaceful assembly is the right to gather for a common purpose. This can be done publicly or privately. It includes the right to participate in assemblies, meetings, protests, strikes, sit-ins, demonstrations, and other gatherings. International law only protects assemblies when they are peaceful. However, an assembly does not lose its peaceful character due to sporadic violence or unlawful behaviors of some individuals. The peaceful intentions of the people assembling should be presumed. No assembly can be banned on the assumption that it may turn violent. This right may not be denied to any one group. It is open to everyone. Even counter-demonstrators have the right to assemble peacefully. Exercising freedom of peaceful assembly should not be subject to the permission of the authorities. States may require notice, but not authorization. Since public peaceful assemblies are held to convey a message, they must be facilitated within sight and sound of their target audience. Under international law, assemblies may be subject to certain restrictions. However, these restrictions must be provided by law and meet a strict test of necessity and proportionality. All limitations to this right have to be justifiable in the interests of national security or public safety, public order, the protection of public health or morals, or the protection of the rights and freedoms of others. Restrictions should never impair the essence of the right. Freedom must be the rule and not the exception. So, to recap, states have the obligation to protect and fulfill the right to peaceful assembly and to take measures that facilitate it, enabling people's capacity to express their opinions. Freedom of peaceful assembly is an important means through which people can exercise their freedom of expression.
How many apologize? We got that wrong again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. It is a pleasure for being here. Thank you to all of my from around the world to make sure we know studio we didn't get the sound on. I don't know why we keep doing that, but we didn't get the sound on. All right. But thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here. You know to do when you get on here, and that is spread the message, spread the word. Spread the word, because we have a diabolical media that is trying to suppress the truth. They're trying to stop the truth of a new Bahamas, of a Bahamas where Bahamians can be put first. A country, one country in the world where Bahamians can be first. They're trying to suppress that message. They're trying to twist the truth, and they're trying to not let you benefit from your country. And so we need you to share. Tag persons in there. Go right there in your chat and tag them. Go in your chat and tag them. Share the message. Share this on WhatsApp, etc. Make sure that everyone knows that we are here and that it's time to spread the message of a new Bahamas. We're going to talk with some stuff today. And so you all just prepare for this, including we can talk about what we began talking about in 2020. The thing that's going to make all Bahamians wealthy. The thing that's going to get rid of our crime, get rid of corruption, get rid of our healthcare problems, and all of the problems we have. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to show you some stuff today. All right? Just a reminder, because many of you, your family and friends, they weren't following us, and many of you weren't following us from the beginning in 2020 when we started the Bahamian Evolution. So we got to get to talking about some of that stuff today. We got to get back to our core principles and what we're really going to do in the new Bahamas. So we're glad that all of you are here. Thank you for joining us. Tag some of your family and friends, or get on the phone right now and call them. Text them and tell them, tune in. They have questions about how we're going to benefit from our natural resources. We're going to talk about that today. So we're going to talk about that Haitian stuff, and we're going to talk about CARICOM and all those other stuff that we're going to be dealing with. But of course, we want to talk about the core of it all, our sovereign wealth fund that Philip Brave Davis has ruthlessly and viciously just stolen from the Bahamian people by forming a national investment fund instead. All right, and so here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, you saw the first clip. There was a fire. We were trying to upload the video so you could see all of this from today. There was a fire that affected a shanty town in New Providence, an illegal village in New Providence, off Faith Avenue. And I just want to say first and foremost that we thank God that there were no injuries, no one was hurt. There were some losses, but we thank God that there were no injuries. And so that is a good thing. Ladies and gentlemen, in the meantime, I just want to say I was disturbed and appalled when I watched that video. There was a fire, and immediately the PLP trolls went on to social media and started saying that this had something to do with me or the COI, and they're still doing it. They're all over, trying to blame this somehow and connect it to us because there's a fire in the shanty town, another fire in the shanty town. This has been happening for a long time. This is one of the reasons we should not have shanty town. Someone could have died. Someone could have been asleep in one of those houses. Someone could have died. This is a danger. This is a threat to national security and a danger. A child could have been asleep. A baby could have been asleep. An elderly person could have been immobilized and home alone and couldn't get out. Shanty town should not exist anywhere in the world. And we have to eradicate that. But what I noticed, other than noticing that immediately the PLP trolls began blaming the COI and myself, saying that we might have something to do with this. I mean, how ridiculous can you get? Remember when we started protecting the forest? They started to say that we were cutting down the forest and that the flood in Carmichael Road, they had a flood in Carmichael Road. They had a king tide and a spring. They had a king tide, and but they had a special king tide that caused a flood. But instead, they said, oh, this is because Lincoln and them are cutting down the trees. They find every reason to blame us for the ills in this country when they know that the real reason for the ills in this country are the PLP and the FNM. All right? And someone says, don't wait too much time on that fire. Thank you so much. I won't. But I just wanted you to notice a few things about that so we could get on to talking about what we need to talk about today. Because we need to talk about how we can make this money for the Bahamian people. First of all, I want to say that these people were very, very ungrateful. I was shocked and appalled. They were cursing out the firefighters. These firefighters risked their lives to go out that fire. It was a major fire. There were explosions, as you heard in her live report. She said that there were explosions still happening while they were there. Those firefighters risked their lives bravely to make sure that no other human was in there, to make sure that they got the fire out so it wouldn't spread to the whole community. And instead of thanking those firefighters, those Haitian immigrants began cussing them out in their language. I mean, cursing them. We had footage of it, but somehow we're not unable to play it right now. They started cussing them out. I mean, viciously cussing them. I think I can let you hear some of what some of them had to say. You may not be able to see it, but you'll be able to hear some of what they had to say. I thought it was very distasteful and ungrateful. When you have a people that you're helping and they're ungrateful, that's a problem. Even Jesus had a problem with ungrateful people. He healed 10 and 1 returned. Ungratefulness is a sin. And those firefighters saved their lives. And what happened after that was that social services was called in to find homes for these persons. Yes, you heard me right. Our Ministry of Social Services was called in to assist these persons. I have a problem with anyone being assisted. But I personally know of so many Bahamians who lost their place of abode or are in serious situations that are trying to be placed. They have gone to social services and were able to get no assistance. I also want you to see how quick the ambulance got to the area of the fire. Now, they didn't report any injuries or anything, but they had an ambulance in that shanty town like that. Just like they had an ambulance in in 8 Mile Rock or West End when they were bringing in the Asian immigrants that were out to sea. They had 3 ambulances. How is it that everyone else in this country gets treated that we don't get as Bahamians? There are Bahamians who will justify that. There are Bahamians who are satisfied with that. To some Bahamians, that is okay. To some Bahamians, we don't deserve to have anything. Why should we get an ambulance when we call one? When the foreigners are going to need ambulances? Bahamians, are you all waking up and seeing the state of this nation? You may not like our political stance. You may not like our stance, our strong stance, but you must appreciate that this country should be for Bahamians first, man. And if you have a problem with that, yes, you do have a problem with me. And I have a problem with you. This country is for Bahamians. And no one should be getting treatment in this country that we can't get as a people. It is despicable. It is evil. It is awful. It should not happen. And so an ambulance was there. But of course, as I said, they called social services. There was a fire where a mother lost a 4-bedroom house recently. 4-bedroom house. I had to house that family in one of my houses. It's a mother, 3 children, and the grandmother. The mother, 3 children, the grandmother. Tell me where our Ministry of Social Services was. Those persons are still in my house. They're paying nothing, no rent, nothing. We're assisting them. No, I don't know them. I didn't know them prior to this on a personal level. They're not family members of mine. They are Bahamians. And many Bahamians are struggling. Struggling. We can't get basic social assistance. But we're going to show you some stuff that's going to blow your mind today. So just be ready for it. All right? Don't go nowhere. Make sure your family and friends are here. I just wanted to say those things. And it's also amazing how, some of those trolls were up in arms about Bahamians who were cussing out the prime minister, who they feel is aiding and abetting this illegal immigration problem, who they feel stole their sovereign wealth fund and took it from them, and it's worth billions, and who they feel is raising taxes on everything. VAT on insurance is now going to the people instead of the company. They're finding everywhere. They're going to put VAT on salt and sugar. These people are crazy. They're finding every way to damage the Bahamian people while taking away everything that could benefit us. When the evil are in power, the people mourn. They groan. When it's a righteous government, the people rejoice. To the Prime Minister, Philip Grave Davis, instead of having Fred Mitchell and the PLP spin the narrative that people shouldn't cuss you out, I can assure you that if you were doing what was right by the people, they wouldn't be cussing you out. And I call on the Bahamian people to speak your truth. Speak your hurt and your pain. Let the government know. Because if you don't complain, they're going to say, well, you wasn't complaining. You didn't say anything. That's what they're going to say. They're going to feel like you're living good. They deserve to be flying around the world and eating caviar and taking their wives and their boyfriends with them. Because you're apparently doing good because you're not saying anything. Bahamians, don't be afraid. Don't ever be afraid to voice your opinion and your feelings against the government. In fact, you have a duty to do that. And you have a right, according to the Constitution of this country. You have the freedom of expression. You have the freedom of speech. And if you choose to express yourself, that is your right. Lincoln Bain and no one else should tell you that you shouldn't say how you feel. And so people will say, oh, you shouldn't cuss out the prime minister. I also think you shouldn't cuss out the prime minister. But if that is your experience and how you feel, then that is your experience and how you feel, and you have freedom of speech and the freedom to express it. I always respect David. David was they consider him the greatest of the kings. David was on horseback with his soldiers, and a man started cussing him out, telling him all about himself. Apparently, David had killed this man's family when he was a soldier. And as David's soldiers went to kill this man for disrespecting the king, and David stopped him. David was a humble man. He wasn't perfect. He had his sins. He did his wrong. But he was scared of God. And he stopped his soldiers. He said, listen, if I wrong this man, and this man wants to cuss me out, leave him be. If God sent this man to tell me off, you cannot touch him. And I say this to you, Philip Brave Davis. I believe that it was God who sent those people to tell you off, to tell you that you are in error, to tell you that you are not doing right by the Bahamian people. I believe that it was greater intervention. And so we are going to stand up. We understand that the trick, and it is several days now. It is now 48 hours. And I watch, headline news and these other stations where they have 48 hours, and sometimes murders are solved in 48 hours. But somehow the police still haven't solved this one little phone call. This one little phone call the police hasn't solved. Now, you cannot make a phone call anywhere in the world without it being connected. It must originate from somewhere and terminate somewhere. They call it termination. It must terminate somewhere, meaning where it ends and where it's connected. There is no way to have a phone call. When that says private, that's only private for you. But the company can see that. There's no such thing as a private phone call. So you're telling me that this is 2 days later and y'all don't know who called, or at least where they called from? I put it to you, Bahamas, they will not find who made that call. Because if they do, it will point to the Progressive Liberal Party and someone on behalf of the government who did that for one purpose and one purpose only, so the Bahamians can be hindered in their voice from going to CARICOM and freely expressing their constitutional right. We are writing to the international media tomorrow to let them know that we will be there, to come and speak to us, because Brave Davis doesn't represent us on this illegal immigration situation. He doesn't represent us on his views about Haiti. He does not represent us. All right. Someone says that there's some sound issues. Let me see if I can resolve that for you quickly. Okay. Let me know if the sound issue is resolved, if it's better. Someone says they can hear clearly. All right, let me know if the sound issue is resolved. Hopefully it is. But we need, okay, people are saying that they can hear clearly. Good. And so we got to get this right, man. I was going to play the audio of the Haitians cussing out the police, which is the firefighters. I'm not going to play that. I was going to play them complaining that they lost their papers, et cetera, their documents. If you weren't home, your documents, your work permit or whatever, your ID is supposed to be on you. So I don't know which documents you're talking about, but if it's a document that you got from the Ministry of Immigration, they have copies. But I was just appalled at how these people complained when people put their lives on the line for them. And you remember the recent story, I think it was last year, of NGOs, charities, Christian charities who were kidnapped brutally by the persons who they were feeding and helping and building homes for in Haiti. If you are not grateful, go home. If you don't like what our firefighters are doing, go home. You have a whole country with plenty of firefighters who can do exactly what you want them to do. Go home. Simple as that. That's all I have to say about that. I won't waste too much time on that. So, to all of those Haitian immigrants, you don't have a right to cuss out our police officers, especially when they're putting their lives on the line for you. Don't do that. Not in my country. We won't be entertaining that at all. Get yourselves together. All right. So there's a couple of things I want us to talk about today. Just want to make sure I pull some stuff up for you and get all these uploaded in time for you. But I really want to talk about that. I also wanted to just briefly talk about the fact that Philip Brave Davis has still not uttered a word about the fact that he stole our sovereign wealth fund. Not a word. All right? Not a word. Farmers, join us. In fact, I'm going to see the Commissioner of Police tomorrow. He ain't called for me, but I go into him. Me and Maria go into him in the morning. So we go into police headquarters in the morning to see the Commissioner of Police. He said he would summons me. No, I'm not going to wait on that. I'm going to see him. So I'm going to be there first thing in the morning to see what he has to say and let him know what we have to say. Simple as that. So 9 o'clock in the morning, bright and early, I'm going to be on his step and I'm going to be at his office waiting to see him, to see what he has to say about whatever he said at that press conference, that I'm supposed to control the mouths of complete adults. So we'll see what they have to say, okay? So I got some other stuff uploading, all right? And so, yes, not a word on the carbon credits from Philip Brave Davis. They ain't talking about that no more because he is allowing, what's his name? Anthony Ferguson to do some things as it relates to that, all right? Be careful. Watch out. They are stealing from you right in front of your eyes. We got to fight. We got to stand up. So we're going to CARICOM to let them know that we have a problem with the fact that Philip Brave Davis is stealing our sovereign wealth fund, that he took it from us. Other countries Turks and Caicos have a sovereign wealth fund. I think in the first year they did something like $80 million, just like that. They like a family islanders. Like $80 million, I think it was. Just like that. A little settlements, islands. Did like $80 million like that. They were able to give all of their people money already. Jesus. But our government stealing was ours and telling us nonsense, but they put it in investment funds so they could build roads and bridges. I want you to see how the PLP and F&M is continuous. Remember when we started talking about the sovereign wealth fund and then we had the big march and they locked me up and had to let me go? Right after they let me go, the next day, Minister came out and he said, okay, we're going to give you your sovereign wealth fund, because remember, every time we stand up, they must stand down. He said, I'm going to give you a sovereign wealth fund, but I'm going to take $2 billion from it, and we're going to build roads and airports and bridges, etc. Remember that? This is the same thing Brave is doing. Continuing. It's the same words. He didn't call a figure, but he says, we're going to get rid of that sovereign wealth fund, and we're gonna do a national investment fund, which is that you're gonna be able to benefit from. Talk to your friends and families, please. We have a chance to transform this country for the Bahamian people, man. You're less. This is not gonna happen if I do the right things. This is gonna happen if you do the right things. Put these numbers in perspective. 10,000 people vote for us and people we endorse. 10,000. That includes Markle Pine and other independent. 10,000 people voted for us and people we endorse. If those 10,000 people secures their 10 people, we got 100,000 voters. You see how easy this is? For everyone who supported us last election, if 10,000 of you grabs 10 people, that's 100,000 Bahamians. We would win by the biggest landslide in Bahamian history. Get your 10. Lock down your house and your family. This is your responsibility. This is going to happen if you make it happen. Do you see how easy this is? I didn't say 100, you know. We don't have that big a population. If 10,000 of you gets 10 people, that's 100,000 people. The PLP won with just 66,000 people. About. That's how much they won with. And they basically wiped out the F&M. If each of you grab, and I'm not saying to settle for 10, I'm just saying if you grab 10 people and you convince them, you lock down, you take your responsibility and lock down your 10, we'll be in a better place. Do you see? Get your family and your friends. Some people say, oh, you got to get the young people and you got to reach out to them. Listen, listen, young people are not interested in politics. Remember when you were young? Young people are not interested in politics. They're interested in what the latest stuff that they're talking about. They're interested in Jay-Z, Beyonce, Movado, Cardi B, and whoever these people are. They're interested in entertainment. They don't come on board till the last minute when it becomes more of a sport, when it's my party against your party. And mostly they let their parents tell them what to do because they don't really know, because they weren't watching politics. Now, more and more young people are watching us and what we have to say. And the more the media talks bad about us and spin the narrative, and people can see them spinning the narrative, it's causing people to come on board with us. Because it's obvious that the system is afraid of us. But talk to your young people. Get them on board. This is to benefit them. This is to benefit them. Even more than you. Your 13-year-olds, a lot of them won't be able to make it next time. But your 14-year-olds, your 15-year-olds, talk to them. Don't think they're too young. Let them know that we need a change. All right? And so, you know, you don't just market to young people when it comes to politics. That's just not something they're into. But I can tell you, everywhere I go, young people are stopping me to take pictures, etc. They are paying attention. They're watching. Let's stay focused, y'all. Let's bring this home for the Bahamian people. Let's bring this home for them. The majority of the base of the Coalition of Independence is from 30 to 60. That's the majority of the base. All right? That's the majority of our base. And they are the middle class. The majority of our base is the middle class. It's not the lower income. It's not the lower class. A lot of them, that's not the majority. I'm not saying we don't have support there. We do have support there, but it's not the majority. Our big base is the middle class. Most of the lower class, they're working. They're not interested in watching the news and the reading the newspapers, etc. They're working, hustling, trying to survive. And we have a lot of support there, but I'm just saying what our biggest base is. And so we got to get the message to them also. And we're going to focus on getting the message to those people who don't have time to watch the news. They don't have enough data to watch my lives for 2 hours. They don't. They take their data and watch it. That's all they got. And so you have to spread the message to your coworkers, your friends, your family members. Spread the message. Some of them won't get it, but don't be deterred. You have to keep showing them what's going on. They're going to wake up eventually. All right? And so even a lot of the upper class have been contacting us, and they're in support. A lot of our white Bahamians, because we are for all Bahamians. Black Bahamians, white Bahamians, all Bahamians, we are for. We are for Hamas, for all Bahamians. We are calling on all Bahamians to unite and create a country where all of us can benefit. And we get rid of corruption. So that if you want to do a business, you don't have to pay off a politician. You don't have to do a favor for a politician. You get that business because you're a Bahamian. You get that grant because you're a Bahamian. Let's continue. All right. So some say they're still waiting on the free electricity that the PLP promised. You've never gotten anything the PLP promised. So you shouldn't be surprised now. And you won't get anything that the F&M promised. All right? Because they don't want you to have anything. I'm just going to remind you the last time before I get into this. I sat in front of Philip Brave Davis, just like I'm sitting in this desk in front of you right now. I sat in front of Philip Brave Davis. And we talked about the natural resources, and we talked about the carbon credits, and he agreed that it's worth billions and trillions. He said, but he's old school. You can't give it to the people because they ain't gonna need you no more. And he said, what you do is you take it and you give it to a few people, and then you let them provide jobs. That was sickening for me to hear. But it manifested. He took away the Sovereign Wealth Fund, and now he did a national investment fund that he is going to be able to issue our carbon credits, our natural resources to anyone he wants, where it's supposed to be in the hands of the government for the Bahamian people. They're robbing us, y'all. We got to stand up. So the 15th, we're going to CARICOM. Please be there. All right, so I want to show you a couple of things. I want to have a serious conversation with you. And if I get to, I'll show you the documentation of the National Investment Fund. I should have it here somewhere so that you can see that with your own eyes. But there's some things I wanted you to see. There's a couple of things that I wanted you to pay attention to. We have some serious issues in this country. We have some debilitating issues in this country that, for a lot of us, we don't know how to get through this. We've had the same healthcare issues before we were born, and it continues. They're going to build a hospital now after all these years of making you suffer, and finally you come in, then they're going to give you a little something. But watch who gets the contracts. This is a way for them to make money. Everything they do is to make money for them and their cronies. So when they build that hotel, that ain't for you, that's for them. Watch who gets the contract. Watch. All of their corrupt people are being put in place in every sector of this society. Wake up. But nothing they can do to stop the new Bahamas. Now, we have a crime problem, healthcare problem, immigration problem, education problem. We have many problems that I could sit down and list. Inflation, all these kinds of things. We have a corruption problem. There are countries in this world that don't have any of those issues. But they used to. But the only thing they did differently than what we did is they let their people benefit from the natural resources. Now, I want you to see how in Qatar, which was a very poor nation where people used to die on the street, I want you to see the crime situation in Qatar. All right? I want you to sit here with me today, and I want you to see what is real. And I'm going to show you the situation in the world with Sam. But first, let's look at Qatar. And let's look at how crime is in Qatar. And then we're going to look at crime in Dubai. And then we're going to look at crime in Singapore. And then we're going to contemplate on crime in the Bahamas. And we're going to see what they are doing different than what we are doing. You got your family and friends here yet? Get them here quickly. Because we're about to have a serious conversation. Let's go. This is a gentleman from Qatar because they were having the World Cup there, and he was letting people know before they travel there, because every time you travel, you got to know about the crime in the area. So he was letting them know about crime in Qatar.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel, Heading to Qatar 2022, where I give you information about Qatar in preparation for you coming down to the 2022 World Cup. In this video, I'm going to discuss crime in Qatar and what you can maybe expect when you come down to the World Cup. Qatar has one of the lowest crime rates in the world. It's actually a very, very safe country. So much so that sometimes Qataris can have issues when they go abroad because they're just so used to these low crime rates. Like one time I was vacationing with friends out in Vancouver, and we were all sitting at a sidewalk cafe, and a guy came up to beg for change. Then I looked down at the table, and they all had their phones out sitting on the table. And I was just like, what are you guys doing? I mean, okay, nothing happened, but I mean, it would have been very easy for someone to just run by. We were right up by the sidewalk, run by, snatch the phone, run off. But for them, they just don't think about that because that just doesn't happen in Qatar. Like, you're used to just leaving things out because no one's going to steal it. That's sort of how safe the country is. As an example, I believe the most recent news reports, remember, this is in the newspaper, there was someone who was arrested for breaking into cars. And I think by that it was just, he was trying the doors to see if they were unlocked or not or whatever, and then going in and stealing things. And the police formed a task force to actually catch this guy. Yes, that's how rare this is, that the police formed a team to try to figure out who was breaking into cars, and they arrested the guy. There was a big story in the paper about a car in the Lusail neighborhood which drove onto a pedestrian walkway and drove along there. Didn't hit anyone, didn't harm anybody, but whoa, someone drove on the pedestrian walkway. This is news. Like, this made the newspapers. And of course, there's the usual COVID prosecutions. They typically levy fines for anyone found violating the COVID rules. I'm still surprised this is happening. There aren't many COVID restrictions on at the moment. Like, you have to wear masks indoors and you have to show your tracker app to enter buildings, but that's pretty much it. And yet, still lots of people flaunting the rules and thus, receiving fines and warnings for it. As for gun crime, that too is quite rare. I believe it is illegal for citizens to own guns, and certainly expats can't own guns. So any guns that are available should typically be with the police or the military. That said, gun crime does happen. I believe a few months ago there was one shooting, and I think it was the only shooting that occurred in the last, 5-6 years. And it was everyone was just like, whoa, there was a shooting? What? No way. It was a Qatari gentleman who had been turned away by security at a compound, so then went back to his home, got a gun, which I believe was illegal. I guess he had an illegal gun, came back and opened fire on the security guard. So it wasn't even really like just sort of you're walking along the street and someone appeared with a gun and tried to rob you. It was something different. But even then, that was been like the only gun crime I had heard of in like the last 6 years. And Doha is over 2 million people. And that is how rare crime is, especially property crime and things like that. I've never heard of a mugging. I've never heard of a pickpocketing. I've never had anything happen to me, never had anything happen to my car. It's unbelievably safe here. That said,
On a trip to a new country, you are most likely to hear these basic travel tips.
Do not walk alone at night. Make sure you lock up your valuable belongings. Use ATMs during the day. Put your wallet in your front pocket. But would you do this in Dubai? Well, true, you have to stick to some safety measures before you travel to any new city. But here in Dubai, things are a little bit different.
It is safe that you can walk out by yourself at 3 a.m. in the morning without worries of being robbed by strangers.
It is safe that almost all the shops here don't need to have a roll or shutter to close their doors for protection against theft.
Look at how this shop is closed. Just with 2 chairs.
See this small library, for example. It is without a salesman and works with trust. If you want to buy a book, all what you need to do is pay the required amount in this small blue box and simply walk away with your book. The city has one of the lowest crime rates in the world, and if you are visiting for the first time, crime is the last thing to worry about.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've shown you Dubai and I've shown you Qatar. We're uploading is 50%. Singapore, so you can see that. Basically, Singapore is similar to Dubai and Qatar, etc. As you saw in that video, it was like on the Family Islands, how the Family Islands used to be. Businesses don't have locked doors. Some of them don't have doors. You basically can't tell when they're open or closed. They don't need burglar bars or shutters to protect what's going on. How is that possible in this world? I'm going to tell you how that's possible in this world in a minute, but I want you to see it. And the Bahamas is going to get there. The entire Bahamas is going to be like it was on the Family Islands, where you can leave your door open, where you can catch a ride with anybody. The entire Bahamas is going to be like that again. And we're going to show you exactly how the Bahamas is going to be like that again. So we're going to show you now Singapore. All right. This one is about the same length, about 2 minutes. We're going to show you now Singapore and the situation in Singapore, because we have to give real solutions and real understanding to understand what's going on in our country. Because these politicians, they've thrown their hands up in the air. They don't know what in the world to do. Let's go.
Singapore has one of the lowest crime rates in the world. So I'm at this hawker center and I'm going to leave my laptop, my cell phone, and heck, even my wallet to save my seat as I go order lunch. Could I get a chicken rice? It's about 9 a.m. and we're on the ground floor of this building, which has offices and condos. Even though a lot of the shops down here are still closed, well, you can still get a pretty close look of everything they're selling. Although some stores have chosen to put in tighter security measures.
Singapore is ranked number 2 in the Economist Intelligence Unit's Safe City Index. It comes in right behind Tokyo. The population of the city-state is more than 5.5 million people. In 2016, crime in Singapore reached a 30-year low, according to Singapore police. And in that same year, there were a whopping 135 days that went by completely crime-free, from crimes including snatch theft, housebreaking, and robbery. So it's no wonder some businesses barely even shutter their doors at night.
Hello? Excuse me? Maybe it's self-serve. I think this is closed. I think this means that they're closed. Yep, this one's closed. This Starbucks is located in one of Singapore's underground train stations, and as you can see by the white rope, well, it's now closed. No gate, no locks, not even a door. It's just after 8:30 p.m. at one of the busiest train stations in Singapore, and as you can see, some of the shops that sell items all day long have officially closed up shop and indicated so by putting this cover over their products. But, of course, you're being watched.
One reason crime is so low here is, well, it's nearly impossible to get away with, and punishment is strict. Tens of thousands of cameras are actively monitoring areas around Singapore, and the cameras come in handy. On January 2nd, 2018, a man snatched a woman's cell phone and ran away. 3 days later, he was arrested and will face between 1 and 7 years in prison.
Well, it's all still here. Don't try this at home.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I showed you three similar countries where they don't have crime issues, the same as it was Norway, et cetera, et cetera. Why is it that these countries don't have crime issues? Their politicians came up with solutions. Do you know that they have more foreigners living in their country than locals? Singapore has about 70% foreigners. Dubai and Qatar has about 90% foreigners, but they don't have an immigration issue. We don't have to have an immigration issue. We have an immigration issue because of corruption, because the politician can make money from it. And that's why you see them making excuses and stalling, because they're making money in the meantime, hoping that y'all don't say nothing. The minute you stand up and make noise, they have to make changes. Have you noticed they started to, since we made the demands and we read the list of 10 things that we want them to do, they've started like inch things in there, but they're doing it with a trick. So they said, okay, we're going to stop work permits, but we're going to allow permits to reside. It's a trick, and it makes it worse than the previous situation. They're now saying, oh, we're going to go to the court and file a summons for us to be able to break down these houses in Abaco and in 2 places in New Providence. All right. Oh, all of a sudden you can do that because we let the whole Bahamian public know. Bahamians, I hope you realize that the Coalition of Independence is actually governing this country. The government is only doing what we address, and they are only putting out ideas that they've heard us say. We are actually running this country right now. And so some people might wonder if we should be put in charge based on what the government is doing and how they're responding, and that the only ideas that they can bring to the Bahamian people, even though they're not fulfilling it, is COI ideas. It shows you that it is time for change. They came with no plan. Don't mind them talking about this blueprint for change. There's nothing in that. That was empty. And they have done nothing that is in that. Nothing that they are now talking about was in that blueprint for change. All they're doing is putting forward ideas that they heard a Coalition of Independence talk about. Now, these countries have given themselves solutions. But look at us. I want you to see this. And this is why I'm calling for the Prime Minister and Keith Bell to resign. Well, Keith Bell, they're saying there's going to be a shuffle and he's going to move Keith Bell and replace him with Pierre Glover. All right. Remember, I told you that. Right? They may try to change it now, but they're going to remove Keith Bell just to appease you a little bit. But Keith Bell, and everyone missed this, came out and made a statement that shows why the government of this country should step down. Not just the Prime Minister, the whole lot of them. Watch this.
It is impossible, Madam Speaker, for us, the Royal Bahamas Defence Force and our law enforcement agencies, to police our waters. 100,000 square miles of water.
That man said, it is impossible for the Bahamas government to police our waters. Jesus. Hear that again. I want you to hear this. So while you talk about who is qualified, oh, you got to get some qualified candidates. You gotta. Was he a qualified candidate? Doesn't he have law enforcement experience? And he doesn't know how to patrol our waters? He doesn't know how to police our waters? Man the gates. There's only one way they can get in. They're not going all into Atlantic Ocean to go around to get in here. They are coming straight past Inagua, either to the east of it or to the west of it. What do you mean you can't police it? Listen to Dumbbell again. His name is Dumbbell.
It is impossible, Madam Speaker, for us, the Royal Bahamas Defence Force and our law enforcement agencies, to police our waters. 100,000 square miles of water.
So that's the qualified candidates that y'all want. Isn't Wayne Monroe qualified? Isn't he a KC? What's happening with crime? What's happening with crime? Isn't he qualified? He's now blaming the parents. What's happening with education? Glenn Santa Martin, is he qualified? What's happening with education? Nothing? Oh, nothing. You mean businessman Chester Cooper can't get one little hotel sold? One hotel. One hotel. We would have already had that hotel up and running and owned by the Bahamian people, not managed by government. I would have not sold that hotel. That would have gone in our portfolio, and we would have done like Dubai is doing. You form a tourism company that is a tourism development company, and we would have owned that hotel. We would have put bungalow hotels around Nassau. Oh, we're going to talk about our vision for tourism today. Over the water, bungalow hotels. That's what people want. They don't want the big Atlantis type feel. They don't really want that. Talk to them. Go in Bahamas and talk to them. Yeah, they're coming because they don't have a choice. But they want that Bora Bora feel. They can get that in the Bahamas. We need new vision, man. Come on, man. All right. So the man has given up, and so he should resign. Him, Brave, the whole lot of them, they should resign. And I don't want you to fall. I heard someone, sounded like a very young person on Guardian Radio on Saturday, and they were saying, what do you want the government to do? They are arresting the persons out to sea, and they're deporting them. No, my child. Don't be deceived by the wiles of the devil. Don't be deceived. The U.S. Coast Guard is arresting persons out to sea when they almost get to America. These immigrants are being allowed to come through to the Bahamas. Whoever is caught out to water by the U.S. Coast Guard is being deported. But the ones who land are getting papers. They are paying these corrupt government officials for papers. Don't be deceived. And that is why we have to hit CARICOM to let them know what is happening. And through this illicit practice, they are chipping their guns and their drugs, and crime is on the rise. Don't be deceived, child. They are not going into Abaco and going into these places and removing illegals. So to satisfy you, they said, oh, we're going to go to the court and get permission to demolish the Shanty Downs. No. You don't have to go to the court to go in the Shanty Downs and round up the illegal people. You don't have to go to the court to go on these construction sites and these jobs and round up the illegal people. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go to court for that. But of course, you don't want to. So since you don't want to, we're going to go to CARICOM. And we can let them know that that's what we want. Since our government doesn't want to do the will of the people, they got to go. Let's not be deceived by the little repatriations. That's the ones who was caught on the boat. They had time to pay off no government official. They sending those ones home because you could see they came in. So they sending them home. But the ones who land in every day and the defense force isn't catching them, that's the ones who are staying here. Some is landing here and then trying to find another way to get to America. This is a middle point for some. But for the majority of them, they're staying here. Now back to what we were talking about. I showed you these countries and they have something in common. All of them let their people benefit from their natural resources. That's all they did. They don't have no special laws that we don't have. They don't have any special enforcement that we don't have. We have the same laws as them, basically. The only thing different with them and us is that they made it so that their people can benefit from their natural resources. Watch this.
This may be the best citizenship in the world, and they all have it. Because of this card, they get free land, free education, free weddings, free hospitals, and even a free funeral. It's the citizenship of a country in the Middle East called the United Arab Emirates. This is what life is like for citizens from the Emirate of Dubai. And because the city is so generous, they get the craziest benefits I have ever seen. Are you ready for this? When you are born, your parents pay nothing. Your delivery and checkups for the next 9 months are all free. Then you grow up and you go to school. Local school in Dubai is free! And so are universities, because Dubai will pay for you to get a degree.
I studied at Zayed University and New York University, both for free.
Who's gonna pay for that?
The government.
Then you get married. If you can't afford the wedding, you get $20,000 to throw a wedding. And after marriage, every local Dubai family gets this: free land. Did you get free land?
Yes.
Did you get free land?
Yes.
Did you get free land?
Sure, yes.
And if you cannot afford the home, then you get a grant to build it for free.
I also can't afford building a house. I can get a 0 interest loan on housing.
Zero?
0.
If you need to go to the hospitals are free. And if you need surgery that's not available here, they will fly you to another country to get treatment for free. When you become a senior citizen, you get discounts, many discounts. And if you live alone and can't afford it, Dubai will even send a caretaker to look after you for free. And when you die, well, in Dubai, that's also free. Your funeral will be taken care of, and Dubai will build a full tent with air conditioning within 5 hours of your death next to your home, so your friends can come and say goodbye to you. The point of government is to take care of people, and in Dubai, they take it to the extreme. Imagine if every city, every state, every government in the world did this. We would have a much happier world.
They say Lincoln being selling dreams. I am. I dream of a Bahamas where Bahamians are first. I dream of a Bahamas where Bahamians can benefit from our natural resources. I dream of a Bahamas where we can benefit from our carbon credits. I dream. They say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I know there are enough of us, dreamers, who have a dream to transform this nation into a new Bahamas for all of us. So the question is, they say Dubai, has oil, so they can do that. No, Dubai had a small amount of oil. For a long time, only 5% of their GDP was oil. Now it's less than 1% of their GDP is oil. When Dubai first found oil, they realized it was only a small amount. They formed a company called Nakheel and other companies. They have hundreds of companies, but they formed a company called Nakheel, and it became a development company to build tourist attractions so that people from around the world would want to come there. At that time, their tourism was zero. After all these years, we still scraping and bragging about 7 million tourists. They get 80, 90 million tourists easily. Disney World gets 90 million tourists. And our tourism ministers are bragging about 7 million tourists, and they feel that that's a success. Watch them brag. 7 million tourists. That's more than we had. It's a record. Dubai went from zero to where they are. Listen, man. They don't even have a beach. They don't even have water. They don't have water. They don't have a forest. They don't have trees. They had to create this stuff from nothing. They got a loan based on the value of the oil that they have, and they use that loan to start building the things that they built. And the people are benefiting. There were more benefits they get than what you saw there. That was just a sampling of it. Because when you turn 18, you get $100,000. In Bahrain, they give you $300,000. And so they're benefiting, but that's not coming from oil. That's coming from all of the investments that the government are involved in. And they're giving the benefit to the people. Do you see? You see the difference? And so we have been putting forward ideas how our country is going to generate income. I mean, it's so simple. Just from a carbon credit tax on our 7 million visitors, just from a carbon credit tax on them. All right, a carbon footprint tax, I should say. If you're coming on plane or if you're coming on boat, you are putting carbon into our atmosphere. All right, cruise ships are putting carbon into our atmosphere just by charging the passengers $50 carbon tax. The cruise ship, so your ticket, instead of it being $500, is $550 because you got to pay for your carbon footprint. Instead of the airline ticket being $250, it's $300. They won't feel the difference. Just from that, 7 million tourists, that's $350 million right there that we invest in the market. And we multiply and multiply. And then from the profits, every Bahamian can get something. But even if you take the $350 million and you divide it by 150,000 Bahamians, that's $2,333 right there at the end of the year. Just from that. That one thing that didn't exist before. That's not touching our natural resources or anything. That's a check right there that goes to all Bahamian adults. 150,000 of us. You see how this is doable? But instead of giving the 350 million, we'll invest that, grow it in the markets, and then we will give the profits to the Bahamian people. And it becomes like an endowment fund where it never goes away. The principal is never touched. But you know, you are getting a check from that every single year just because of the people who come to this country. And because of the things we're going to do and attract tourism and revamp Bay Street, et cetera, we're going to raise tourism from 7 million to 25 million, like that. We have a tourism plan. Wait for Vision 2030. You're going to see it. But you can go to our website, our Coalition of Independence. Independence is TS, not CE. Coalitionofindependence.com. And you can look for our vision for tourism. And you can watch it. It'll blow your mind. All right. And so you can see the ideas we have there. But in any event, they don't pay taxes in Dubai. I just thought you should know that. That's stuff that you didn't see in there. They don't pay taxes. All right. They recently added VAT, or they were supposed to. I don't know if they eventually put it in. And that's just because of agreement they were in with the Gulf states. And they had a certain advantage. So they said, okay, we'll do a 5% VAT. Just so we don't have a bigger competition over everyone else. But they're not doing that 5% VAT to live off of it. All right. It was to live amongst their neighbors. And so they added that. But if you made everyone in your country a millionaire, they don't care. They're not going to feel that. All right. And they own the businesses, by the way. And so the tourists and everyone else, the foreigners are going to pay that. The population of Dubai and Qatar is just over 300,000, just like us, under 400,000. But that's the citizens. But the total population is 2.6 and 2.7 million people. That means they have more foreigners, but they don't have an immigration problem. The foreigners come into work. And so I see someone said that people are on here saying that I'm spreading hate and this kind of stuff. I'm not. I am not saying that the Haitians have to go away forever and they can't come back. I'm not trying to say that no foreigners will be able to come in and work for us. I'm not saying that foreign companies won't be able to come in and mine our natural resources or do stuff in our country. I'm saying that we should benefit. We will own this country and they will come in and work for us. Then we don't have an immigration problem. I hope you see the difference in the mindset. And when you come in properly, you don't have to live in a shanty town hiding in the bushes and growing your children up in those situations. You can open a bank account. You can exist in the country as normal. Come on, y'all. But they're saying we're spreading hate. Yes. I hate corruption. I hate illegal immigration. I hate the fact that illegal immigration is contributing to crime in this country. I hate the fact that illegal immigration is causing you behemoths to not have a hospital bed. I hate the fact that a mother who just had a baby had to call her husband, called me from the hospital and said his wife is sitting in a chair and just had baby. You got to sit up in a chair because you know bed. Because all them other people in beds. I hate that. Because that bed was bought for us with our taxpayer money. I hate that. That's what I hate. I don't hate people. I hate what is going on, what this government is doing, and that they're getting paid to do it because they feel it won't affect them. This will affect you because you got to live with them. These politicians living behind the gates and in these other posh communities where they feel they'll never be affected. So ain't worry with you. I hate the state that this country is in. I hate it. I hate when I go downtown and look at Bay Street. And that is our number one attraction. And it is garbage. I hate that. I hate to see how far we've gone backwards in 50 years. I hate that. I do. How are we going to get from where we are to where we need to go? Carbon credits is one. We'll get to that in a minute. Number two, we've been talking to you about sand and aragonite from the beginning. I wanted you to see some clips about sand so you understand this. Just some few clips. A couple of them was in our original documentary. I want you to see this with your own eyes. This is a situation with the state of sand in the world and the exploitation of it. We have something more valuable than what Saudi Arabia and all these people have. Sand is more valuable than oil, and the world is running out of it. How could we have the most important, most used natural resource that the world is running out of, and be poor and broke and borrowing? Y'all don't see the failure? Watch this.
The market for sand is huge, and the aggregate industry is booming. The sandmen have not been affected by the economic downturn, and they are predicting steady growth of the demand.
Behind air and water, sand is the most used commodity in the world.
Business is doing very good. I think it is going to grow in the future, and the reason for it is people still traveling down the roads. They got to be replaced. Bridges have to be replaced. People still want to have nice houses, office buildings.
But this optimism has a serious downside, since meeting the need is not always an easy task.
Sand is not something that's easily found like you might think it is. It used to be that you'd have a sand and gravel deposit, and you'd simply go and dig it up out of the ground, so you'd have sand to make your roads, bridges, and buildings out of. But that type of material has all been taken away. It's gone. We've used it already.
And so you've seen that sand is extremely valuable, and the world is running out of it. And all of the easily accessible sand has already been accessed. Did you see that? This is not my word. I'll let you see it again.
Taken away. It's gone. We've used it already. Has all been buildings out of. But that type of material has all been taken away. It's gone. We've used it already.
So it's gone. They've used all of the easily accessible sand. And so they even started to try to find ways to make synthetic sand because it's not renewable except for in the Bahamas. And so there's a desperate need for sand around the world. That's it. Now I want you to see some more. Keep watching. They got rid of Ocean Key and they gave it over to MSC for a cruise ship because they don't need a key anymore. Ocean Key was kind of a man-made key that they used to dump the sand on until they can bring the ships in to remove the sand. But now they don't have to do that. They can suck the sand straight up out of the water now. And that's what's going on in our waters right now as we speak, and the government is pretending it is not happening. And they're not securing our borders. We are going to have to immediately put a navy in place to protect our valuable waters, our treasure, our sand, our aragonite, our seagrass, our mangroves, our fish, our sea life, our reefs. We have to protect it. Watch this.
From now on, most of the sand required to satisfy our bloated appetite will be found beneath the ocean. And the workhorse of the industry is a dredger, a giant tanker equipped with a suction arm that can pump huge quantities of sand to the surface.
So because they have taken all of the easily accessible sand in countries that have sand, now they have to go into the ocean to get sand. Who has the most sand in the world? Us. Why are we not taking advantage of it? I'll get to that later. But I just wanted to show you more about why sand is so valuable. Do you have your family and friends watching this yet? Now, I want to show you a few things that they use, that sand is used for. All right? We'll start here.
Most use natural resource. We use it even more than oil. We use it to make food, wine, toothpaste, glass, computer chips, breast implants, cosmetics, paper, paint, and plastics.
So it's the most used natural. It's used more than oil. And they use it for, did you hear that list of things he said? I know it went fast, but they use sand for almost everything. It's the most used natural resources. That was a clip. Watch some more.
Sand has quietly infiltrated every corner of our world. Melted and transformed into glass, it sits on every shelf. It's also the source of silicon dioxide, a mineral also found in our wines, in cleaning products and detergents, in paper, dehydrated foods, hairspray, toothpaste, cosmetics, and an astounding variety of products we use on a daily basis.
But it's also...
I am going to play that for you again because we have something in our water that they use for everything. Did you hear that list of things? That's a short list. Listen, there are literally tens of thousands of things that they use sand to make. Did you have paper? You can't have paper without sand. Toothpaste, you're using sand every day, all of us. Wine. Do you see it? Listen again.
Sand has quietly infiltrated every corner of our world. Melted and transformed into glass, it sits on every shelf. It's also the source of silicon dioxide, a mineral also found in our wines, in cleaning products and detergents, in paper, dehydrated foods, hairspray, toothpaste, cosmetics, and an astounding variety of products we use on a daily basis.
But it's also...
I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. Sand.
For sand usage is concrete. Okay, just to be clear, cement is the lime and clay based glue that sticks everything together, and concrete is the final result that you walk on, drive on, and live inside. Concrete is made of 10% cement, 15% water, and 75% sand. The concrete required to build a house takes on average about 200 tons of sand. A hospital uses about 3,000 tons, and a mile of highway requires 15,000 tons. For sand usage is concrete. Okay, just to be clear, cement is the lime and clay based glue that sticks everything together, and concrete is the final result that you walk on, drive on, and live inside. Concrete is made of 10% cement, 15% water, and 75% sand. The concrete required to build a house takes on average about 200 tons of sand. A hospital uses about 3,000 tons, and a mile of highway requires 15,000 tons.
So sorry, we had some technical difficulties there, but we should be back up and running now. Sorry about the technical difficulty. It doesn't seem to be as clear as it was before, but we're still here. So as you can see, sand is used for every single thing. It is so valuable. I don't know what else we got to say to people to let them see that we have something that the whole world needs. And for us to not be benefiting from it makes absolutely no sense. Even an airplane needs sand. Look at this.
In our planes and most other means of transport, sand is everywhere. In the plastics, in the lightweight alloys of the fuselage and jet engines, in the paint, and even in the tires.
So what we need to do is we need to get this right as a country, because it's not making sense. It's not adding up. What's happening? That's not even aragonite yet. That's not limestone yet that Vaughn Miller talked about. That's not any of these things. That's sand that the world needs. The world cannot build without sand. There's another one. Let's see if that's look. This is the last one. I want you to see. The old world was built on concrete and cement. They can't do that without sand and limestone. When they say lime, that's limestone. And guess who has that? Us. But there's also something else. There's the new world. The new world and the new order of things cannot exist without sand. Watch this.
Source of strategic minerals such as silica, thorium, titanium, uranium. Think about your computers, your electronics. No electronic chips can be manufactured if you do not have high quality sand.
The minerals extracted from sand are at the core of our hyper-connected society. They form a basic material for microchips, without which our computers, credit cards, bank machines, cell phones, and many other devices would not exist.
When you travel, source of strategic minerals.
Do you see? The entire new world that's going to take place on a device. They need sand. The glass, the plastics, the circuits on the inside, they need sand. Why are we poor? Why are we begging? Why is our prime minister traveling around the world begging when we are wealthy? I'm not even talking about the treasure yet. Why are we poor? They say we're selling drinks, but I can tell you one thing. If you want things to remain the way it is, then listen, man, you vote for them. They can make sure it remains the way it is. And they can do some little simple stuff like build some roads and all that. They can do that from our taxes. You know, they can build a hospital because now you're complaining about it. They can wait till the last minute. And they can build a hospital and they can make sure their cronies benefit from it so they make the money. And then they can brag about building a hospital because they done bragging with paving the road. How does the government brag about paving the road? That's like my maid bragging because she washed the dishes. And I didn't start celebrating. No, the maid washed the dishes. Oh my God, she washed the dishes. I have the best maid in the world. I gotta let her keep being my maid because she washed the dishes. Oh, the maid made up the bed. When I came home, that room was clean. The maid cleaned it. That's this nonsense that you do with politicians. Road pave, I saw one picture in time of a politician standing by the newly paved road. Well, this short road, the shortest road in Pinewood Gardens, it was careless. That was literally the shortest road in Pinewood Gardens. They paved it. And he was standing there bragging about paving the road. Jesus. Y'all, I don't know if y'all ready for more. But if you are, right now I'm looking on here, and there's about 1,000 people on here at any one time watching this, the live views. All right, across all of our platforms. That's what I can see in my software. So that's LinkedIn and what is it? LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. So across everything is about 1,000 persons on here. If each one of y'all reach out to 10 people, that's 10,000 people. If each of y'all reach out to 100 people, who on here now? Who on here now? Because then it's going to be much more. If each you reach out to 100 people, that's 100,000 people. We got to do the work. We got to make this happen. We got to make this happen. All right. I'm going to open the phone lines to let some of you call in. To let you call in. The number is the same, 804-4264. Let me hear what you have to say about this. Let's have a conversation about this. 804-4264. Call in. Let's talk. We have a country that is wealthy, but we're not benefiting from it. And Brave and all of them keeping their mouth shut. Vaughn Miller keeping his mouth shut. They tell you I selling dreams. Everyone can't get $100,000. Okay, what if you were able to get $10,000 come Christmas? Would you complain? Would you say, oh, Lincoln said it was going to be $100,000? Let's say it's only $10,000. Is that doable? Would that be a problem for you? If you get that from the government, you still got your job, you still hustling and working. Let's say December comes, you get $10,000. That's a problem? Let's say it's only $5,000. The December comes, and every December you could get $5,000 from your government in your bank account. Is that a problem? If you could benefit from your natural resources in any way, is that a problem? If it isn't, let's go for it. The question is, what you got to lose? Okay, hope this is on silent. Yep, it was on silent. I'm so sorry. You can call now. All right, if you've been calling, you can call back now. You can call on WhatsApp, or you can call on the regular line. All right, 804-4264. Someone says, Bob Evans, I say 12,000 a year. Someone says 2,500 of money in bad. Listen, just of your credit, your carbon credit, you're going to get $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Just on your carbon credits. $3,000 to $4,000 a month. But Brave took that from you. And he take it for himself. Just of your carbon credits. My Lord. 804-4264. Call in. Let's talk about what's going on. Now, while we're waiting for you to call in, listen. We have to show the government we're serious. We have to go to CARICOM. We have to go there and show them that we've had enough. We have to let the world know what's going on here. We have to let the whole world know that Brave doesn't speak for us. when he say we are dedicated to resolving Haiti's issues. He doesn't speak for us. Philip Brave Davis, the world gave Haiti $13.5 million. They put Clinton and Bush in charge of it. And both Clinton and Bush were saying, boy, yeah, you know what you expect them to do, but that was rough. That was rough. They said it wasn't doable. I literally spoke to a contractor, a U.S. contractor, big businessman. I spoke to him in Florida. After the earthquake, he was in Iraq, helping rebuild Iraq, his company. And they moved him from there and sent him to Haiti and gave them $1 billion as their first budget to deal with the situation in Haiti. And he said they went there and they put infrastructure in place. They put telecoms infrastructure in place. And they said they were going to be top notch in the region. Like no one would be on their level. They would be on par with the U.S. based on the equipment that they were putting in Haiti. But he said the minute they put the infrastructure down, the next day they come back, it's gone. They could take months to put in that infrastructure, no matter what it was. But within a day or a couple of days, depending on what it was, they come back, that gone, stolen. A part of the problem is the mindset of the people. All of the people are not bad, but they're letting the bad people control. If you have people who are going to tear down their infrastructure, and see, you wouldn't mind if they take $1 billion worth of stuff if you could see it in the community. Okay, they took it and they sold it and they made some money, so now people eating it. No, they just take it and you don't want to rob them of the money. And so after they put all those stuff in place, he said the next contract they were supposed to get was $3 billion. And he said he told those persons, he said, it's good money he's going to make from that, but he's not willing to do that. Because to put $3 billion worth of stuff in there and the people take it right away, he said that's wrong. He said he'll walk away from that because that's people's money going to waste. They lost $4 billion worth of infrastructure because of the mindset. But you want to tell us who don't have money to build our hospital, to build more schools for our people, et cetera, that we must help them? You know what we could do with $13 billion? I really need you all to focus, you know. I really need you all to focus. Because what's happening and what they're trying to push on us, it ain't right and it ain't fair. It's not right. The phone line is open. The phone line is open. You can call in. We got a couple minutes to take call. I have a couple minutes to take calls. The phone lines are open. 804-4264. 804-4264. 804-4264. Watch this. I don't want you to ever forget this and what's really going on.
Over the holidays, when all of you guys were out there partying and enjoying Junkanoo, the government passed the National Development Fund Act.
Stop right there. Last week I told you all that anytime you want to see something important happens, and I gave reference to the fact that they pass all the crime bills and all the things like rape cases and stuff like that, and all of the sex acts and stuff that people want to enjoy, they would pass those things at the end of the year. You remember me telling you that? They pass those things at the end of the year when no one is looking. No one peeping, no one checking nothing. They partying. So you hear what he said just now? They passed this thing, a second act, while you all were partying. You had no time to waste. Carry on, sir.
But what is even more significant, not that they passed the Act for the National Development Fund, that act also repealed the Sovereign Wealth Fund Act. So they repealed the Sovereign Wealth Fund Act and instituted this national development that the Prime Minister himself and the Minister of Finance, who happen to be the same person, has complete autonomy in terms of decision making.
And that's something.
Now, these acts separately by themselves doesn't constitute the big picture. But when you take a look at these acts in tandem, the big picture emerge. And so you ask the question, what's going on? If the Bahamas had decided to go to the mandatory side of the market, the UN had certain protocols in place. One of those protocols is that the government of the Bahamas would have to set up a sovereign wealth fund, and more than 60% of the proceeds from the carbon credits would have to go into that sovereign wealth fund and be dispersed to the citizens of the country.
See, now that's the big catch. Do you understand? You understand that that big catch means then that because they have done away with the Sovereign Wealth Fund, there is no 60% to put into the Sovereign Wealth Fund. You follow? And so the Sovereign Wealth Fund is no longer. Carry on.
And there are a couple of things that happened prior to that. That has to do with FTX. But we're going to get to that a little bit later on in the show because I don't want to get that really conflated with what's going on here. I ran some numbers, and I'm going to throw some conservative numbers at you, very conservative numbers. The first tranche of carbon credits, the initial tranche based on Mr. Ferguson, who has been appointed to the management company, who's in charge of the management company. The initial tranche, according to him, would be $9 million. 9 million units of carbon credits, which is about just under $800 million if you go to the mandatory side of the market. Now, the total valuation for the mangrove swamps in the Bahamas is close to 100 million units of carbon credits. So you're talking about just over $8 billion annually. And so 60% of that going into a sovereign wealth fund means that every single citizen of the country over the age of 18 would receive a sovereign wealth payment monthly of between $3,000 and $3,500 monthly. And on an annual level, it would be between $36,000 and $42,000.
So Grave Davis is robbing blind right in front of your face, and there are PLP trolls up there being paid to discourage you and to put your focus elsewhere, to send memes out about me, about Maria Daxon, because they want to distract you while they rob you blind. Now, you can go and listen to them, Listen. Go listen to them. They get their little contract. They get their little contract to do in front of the road, their little, $2,000-$3,000 contract. And they will sing for their supper for that. They getting their $2,000-$3,000, and they preventing you from getting yours. So I saw someone on WhatsApp saying they can stop answering these trolls. No, don't stop answering them. Keep answering them. Let them know that Bahamian people are awake. Answer them every time they open their mouths. They're getting paid. Remind them that they are political prostitutes. Their voice has no effect because they're getting paid to say whatever they have to say. I see sometimes a political troll will put a statement out there and people will call me to ask me if that's true. Listen. If someone is being paid to say whatever they can say and you're going to call me to ask me, they say this for you, is that true? You're not wise. You go to phone lines. Good evening, you're live.
Good night, President Bean.
How you doing?
President Bean, pretty good. I was the person to your left holding that pink sign close to the road on the bleacher standing up.
Thank you, man.
And you're welcome, man. Even when you guys told me thank you. Everyone was out there. They want their money, PLP and FM. The Bahamian people want their money. They want their $42,000. They want their $3,500 a month. They want to you all to stop this illegal thing. How is Brave going to tell the people he don't want to give the people back their money? We got 400,000 citizens in this country, and everybody want their money. Everybody want their $3,500. What do you think they're going to do in this debate?
Well, we got to stand up and take it. Brave Davis took it from us. He's famous for taking things from people, but he took from the whole Bahamian community now, the whole country.
Bahamas, that's 400,000 people he take money from. He take money from our kids, our grandparents, our parents. I have family members who really can't hold a job, but they know just how to hold their $42,000 or their carbon credits.
Yeah.
All Brave Davis and the PLP willing to do is give them a pocket full of mental pills and none of their carbon credit.
Wow.
These PLPs like Fred Mitchell, they think they own the Bahamas.
Yeah.
They don't wait for us.
Yeah.
They own the Bahamas. They're in Parliament, Bahamas. They making headways for their kids, their grandkids, and their great grandkids. There was someone I heard, to my shock, I just learned Brent Simnet was granting 35 citizenships every 2 weeks.
Yes.
When I did the maths, I think that's 910 people got their citizenship. I don't know which descent. And Bahamas, what they're doing, they're trying to create a country within a country. Pakistan and India used to be one country, Bahamas. The British separated people on their religion. And then after a while, when they left, they decided to divide that country into Pakistan and India. The foreigners, they will always have their blood first, whether it's Haitian, whether it's Philippine, whether it's Jamaican. And the way they're having births in the hospital, they'll be in the government sooner or later. On another topic, President Bain, that blood drive, a marathon in the mall, did any illegals go there to donate blood, or was that just Bahamians using it?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have a problem with blood drives, but I also think that the government should be paying people for their blood. Hospitals should be paying people who donate blood. That's how they do it in civilized country in England, America, Canada. When you go and give your blood, you should be paid for your blood because it has value and because they are going to sell that blood to the patient. All right? And so if Doctors Hospital does a blood drive, or if your family comes to donate blood, they're going to sell that. There's going to be something on the bill there for that blood that someone gave to them. That's wrong. That's criminal. What's happening? Pay people for the blood. I don't care if it's $50, $100, and you charge the patient because blood is life, is very important. But pay people to give blood, and your blood bank will never be empty. Why can't we have simple solutions? Put a budget together. All right? Take off some of Fred Mitchell caviar money and pay people $50, $100 a time to give blood, whatever it is, and the blood bank will never be empty.
Yes, that is true. I agree with you, President Dean.
Who wouldn't take $50, $75 to give blood before it's needed?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? This is absolute idiocy. People are dying because of lack of vision in this country and no other reason. Thanks for your call, man. All right. So I saw the phone beeping. 804-4264. You can get in now. 804-4264. 804-4264. That is the number to call in. We got a few more minutes, so we're going to be here. 804-4264. Remember, we're going to CARICOM. We're going to let them know how the Bahamian people feel. Good afternoon, you're live. You're live.
Mr. President.
How you doing?
I'm calling from Illusion.
Yes.
I get bad with my household.
Thank you. Thank you.
And all those PLP. All those who plot against our funds, all of them who try to rob us, remember that. He offended our constitution, he offended the Bahamian people, and we will not settle for that. No government in this Bahamas ever no more, because you have educated so much, so that ain't gonna never happen no more in this country. And me stand for him, let him know, the war is on.
Yes. The war is on, and we're ready to fight. All right? So I'm going to be there on the battlefield. Join me. Thank you, man.
I was a PLP, and I changed.
Wow. Congratulations.
My own house is a PLP.
Wow.
We ride the buses and up and down for the PLP. We do everything for the PLP. But how do you educate us now? We know the difference. We know the difference. We know who against the people.
Yes, we do.
People's poor that told us more. That ain't gonna work no more.
Yes. So let's spread the word.
Good night, Mr. President.
Good night, my brother. So how the new Bahamas is going to come to fruition, where we're benefiting from our natural resources, whatever the benefits are. You know, some people talking this $100,000 thing, you know, it could even be more. All right, whatever we decide for it to be. But we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that our Bahamians have all of the things that we've promised. We've promised free electricity, like many of those countries do. Free electricity. We broke down how we're going to do all of these things. Make sure your family and friends see this. Crop the parts of this that you need. Make sure that you can see all of this. So the first thing that we're going to deliver to you, the first thing is free water. There's a budget of $17 million to make that happen. That's nothing. We can do that. That's less than Brave Davis' travel budget of $86 million for the term. We are going to be able to deliver that to you. They waste more than that. The government found $60 million quickly to go and buy a hotel when they wanted to. So there's a lot of things that we can do that they're just wasting and squandering the money. So $70 million is going to go to water. That's the first thing that we're going to deliver is free water. We're then going to deliver free internet and data. Now, there's a company offering free internet and data, that wants to do it to run a cable through the Bahamas. That's an option. And that's going to be worth trillions of dollars, running the cable through the Bahamas to go to the rest of the region to the south. And they would give us free internet, high-speed internet for doing so, to the point where you can take your smart TV with a generator on the beach and I was having a conversation about Graham Redford about this today, and just turn on your TV, your smart TV, and have internet on it, because the internet is just there. And so there's a lot of things that can be done, all right? But we put together a budget for that of $100 million, all right? separate from any company that might want to partner with us. If the company partners with us, it'll be for free. But if we want to subsidize it, and remember, all of these things are only for personal use. Business use, businesses are going to pay, including your business, all right? So it's not like no one is going to pay for internet anymore. Businesses will pay, all right? So we deliver those things. We're also going to deliver to you free electricity. Using our carbon credits, we're going to build solar power plants, hydro plants, etc. Countries and companies will build that for us, like it's happening in the Philippines. It's only not happening here because of the advantage that Focal and the PLP and F&M has, because they sell oil and then the parts for those big generators, the corrupt contracts that go out with reference to them, and that's why they want to keep it the way it is. But we are going to deliver that using the carbon credits to be able to get solar power plants. We're also going to build more capacity than we need. And so not only will we get free electricity, but we will be able to sell free electricity to our neighbors. We've gone through that over and over with you and how exactly we're going to do it. Running a cable to South Florida, running a cable to several parts of Cuba, Jamaica, and to Haiti and the Dominican Republic, all right? And also to Turks and Caicos on a smaller level. Australia is doing that right now with Singapore. Australia has run a cable 4,000 kilometers to Singapore, and they're selling free electricity from the sun to them. And so that's what we're going to do. Healthcare is going to be free. Just like in Dubai, healthcare is going to be free. And so the budget for that is $500 million. And that's to ensure you. But we're eventually going to build our infrastructure and staff it out and give you free healthcare. That's what we are going to do. And we're going to do it. You're not getting anything necessarily free. You know, they're using the word free, but it's yours. We're finding a way to pay you. We're finding ways to pay you for using your natural resources. We are going to use the natural resources of this country. You own it, and so you should benefit from it. And so that's why we're doing what we're doing. We hope everyone understands that. We can't have this new Bahamas, and you got to wake up. And to the oligarchs, don't be afraid. You're going to have more people to be able to shop with you. Don't be afraid. You're going to be even more wealthy. Don't be afraid. For the politicians who are worried, like Brave Davis, who's concerned that you won't be able to control the people anymore, because, you know, he's worried about control. That's why he bought out the media, and that's why they like to put up barricades. That's why, you know, Brave is a coward. And that's why he wants to have more police around him. He's the first prime minister to have all those police around him to walk into the House of Assembly. That has never happened before. Even ministers would walk through the people. Ingram would walk through his people. That has never happened before. And it ironically happened with a man who self-styled his name Brave. You ain't brave because you looking for excuse to get more guards around you. You looking for excuse. All right. So these are some of the things we're going to talk about. I'm not going to go into all of that tonight, but we can do this, Bahamas. We can do this. Let's go bigger. Let's be smarter. Let's get this done. Let's be smart, man. Let's be smart. I just want to show you a little clipping of Bill Clinton and what he went through in Haiti. I just want to show you a little clipping of this. It's going to take some minutes. I'm going to show you a good much of this. I want you to see if Bill Clinton and George Bush couldn't do nothing for Haiti, what Brave Gang would do. And they had $13.5 billion. I want you all to watch this. Some of you didn't ever watch this. Watch this. I'm going to show you 5 minutes of this, but watch it.
En essayant d'évaluer leur consistance par rapport.
I think the IHRC was the proper mechanism, but it was cumbersome, and it took a lot of concentration and time to make decisions. A lot of people seem to think that our group, the Reconstruction Commission, was getting money. We didn't. We never took any donations. The donors put their money in a special account of the World Bank. And then when the IHRC approved the expenditures, then proposal was funded by funds being released from the World Bank. What we did was once the World Bank released the money for an approved project, we said, here's the project, here's what the money is, here's who got the money. And then after the money was spent, we had an after-action audit which evaluated how it was spent. And that's what we did. The 2 years that I was the co-chair of the IHRC with the prime ministers of the governments of Preval and Martelly, that's what we did. And we had those reports, and people can find them, read them. It's all a matter of public record. But I never touched any of that money. I was always surprised that people would suggest that. Through the Clinton Foundation, I raised $30 million in emergency fundings, and President Bush and I together raised $50 million more. And all that money's been documented. 100% of it went to Haiti. And what we did with that, and building new businesses and things. And then I set up a Haiti Action Network with an alliance of business people, and they have, this is 9 years later, and we're still working at this, almost 10 years. They have raised and deployed more than $500 million. Now along the way, we've had some setbacks. The iron market burned and was never properly insured, and now because of all the domestic unrest, the Best Western's gonna close, and we don't know yet if we can save the Marriott. But in terms of what we did, I think we ran up a pretty good score. We raised a lot of money, created a lot of jobs, helped a lot of existing Haitian businesses to expand, and supported a lot of NGOs that were Haitian and doing well. And I think I tried to build, the money that I raised, or the partners that I made, we were trying to build Haiti through the Haitians. I didn't want it to be an outside job. I wanted it to be an inside job. And a huge number of people were helped, but it couldn't overcome a lot of the self-inflicted wounds of all this political dysfunction in the last few years. So what I wanted to do was to develop energy efficient, water efficient, sanitary housing in a range of costs, anywhere from tiny houses, small houses at $2,000, up to what were quite comfortable houses at about $30,000. And we were going to construct model homes, and then have people come and look at it, and then try to develop a plan to build these houses, but the people that would buy them would have a lot of choices. And the real problem in the beginning was the difficulty in establishing title, which I still think is a problem the Haitians are going to have to solve. Since so much of this in Haiti is done sort of on an ad hoc basis, we still could have done a lot if there'd been strong support for it. But it may be that I overestimated what I thought would be the likelihood. I thought when people saw these things and saw how many jobs we could create and how many people we could move into homes and how good it would be for the economy, that there would be a new energy and willingness to resolve these land titling problems. And I was wrong. And that's the one thing I feel bad. I feel so bad about that, because I worked so hard on it, and I was determined that it would be corruption-free, that it would all be over and above board. All these people who were selected, I think there were about 60 finalists, weren't there? Something like that. And I was determined that it would all be transparent. And maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should have just been working on something else. I still believe that if you're going to build a modern society, you have to have a land titling system. The thing that I would like people to know about Haiti is that there's a fundamental goodness and energy about the people, and an almost unlimited capacity, and they've been worked over for 200 years by outsiders, and then by their own people who got a hold of political power and used it very often the way outsiders had. And I don't think that this country will ever realize its full potential until it builds systems that bring everybody together and make good decisions in an open and honest way. I think, but I'd do it again tomorrow. Even with all the false charges that were raised about me and all that, I just love the place. I like the people, and I also can't stand to see unfulfilled potential. And I do believe that a lot of Haiti's problems historically have come from people outside and inside trying to take advantage of the people and their resources. And I think this is a very important time for us to try to rebuild it. But if you got all these problems down there now, it's impossible. You can't get somebody to go invest in a country where there's nothing but riots and nothing but, it's tough now.
On the 10th anniversary of the earthquake, what are your reflections about the country?
Well, I thought we did a good job of recovering in the immediate aftermath. A pretty good job of cleaning up and rebuilding Port-au-Prince. A fair job of trying to spread economic opportunity throughout the country. A good but uneven job of trying to empower the NGOs that were running schools and health clinics and other things. And we didn't do very well in eliminating the endemic problems of political and economic practices that just will never do anything but run off investors and break hearts. I mean, there's still too many people who want to take their ride on Haiti's back, and we've got to keep working. When Hillary and I went to Haiti on a delayed honeymoon in 1975, I fell in love with the place. I've always liked the people. I found many of them that I admire. I've always thought that it was crippled by a political system less worthy than the best of its people. And sooner or later, you look at what's going on now, the country will rise or fall based on its ability to inspire confidence in Haitians and in neighbors and in investors and other people and in themselves. And the kind of problems that we have down there very often involve things that nearly everybody knows shouldn't be done. And the Haitians are highly intelligent people. They know exactly how best to organize things, how best to do things. And I hope we can at least get back to the way we were, back at the, when I first went to work there. I think there's so much you could do in such a short time. It could be lightning fast. But people wear out. They wear out working in a place where there's always one more obstacle. And then people say, you didn't help us enough. Here, let me put this chain on your ankle. And so I think it's a work in progress. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But it's very, very bad now, all this trouble. And it would be a tragedy to let it go because of the people and their history. They've overcome so much. And yet, like most people, they live with a lot of self-inflicted wounds. And we just gotta, we're either gonna do better or we're not. I hope we do better.
And so the gist of what he is saying is that there are some self-inflicted wounds, And there's some issues with owning land, particularly with foreigners owning land. Foreigners can't own land, so you can't initially own the land to build on it, to turn it over to a Haitian. So that causes some problem because the foreigner can't own land. I know some other issues there with their titling system. All right. But they have protections in place to protect their land, and that protection has caused them to lose billions of dollars in housing. Go to the phone line. Good afternoon, you're live.
Good evening, Mr. President.
Good evening.
Yeah, Mr. President, I have a question to ask. Okay, according to international law, when foreign kids come to your country, they must be educated, right?
Yes.
But even though they have to be educated, is it international law that they pay taxes to your country? I mean, like going to school? Could they be charged?
To go to school? No, you won't be able to charge them if you don't charge others.
So we are educating foreign kids to overtake our country. And so they don't have to pay no taxes, but our seniors have to pay taxes. I mean, like, yeah, our seniors are paying about tax.
Yes, that's because the government is not rounding up the illegal immigrants and getting them out of our country. Instead, we are paying for their education, paying to bus them to school, paying to give them social assistance when Bahamians are being refused social assistance. We live in a sick, demented country.
Wow. And I mean, I find it so appalling. I am just totally annoyed, you know. But I'm standing with you. I'm standing with you, and you stay faithful, stay focused. The nation praying for you, brother. The nation praying for you. Whether a lot of people might not believe that we have senior citizens from the different two monster groups, they are praying. And because I know that my father said to me and my brother, like I think I've mentioned it before, that a change is going to happen in this country. He says, son, I might not be around. He said, the politics are dying, so it's not in the country. And that you two, I called you all here because I believe that you two are lions. You go and you stand with him. You have the best interest for the Bahamian people.
Yeah. The interesting part is you pay for education in Haiti. And education is a big business in Haiti. I just thought I would say that. Thanks for your call.
Yeah.
So we have to defend our country. This is the only country we got. And so we're going to CARICOM. After CARICOM, then we're going to start our demolitions. And so we're going to go to CARICOM first, and then we're going to start our demolition. We're going to go with the lady who owns the property that the Haitians took from her and violently threatened her. We're going to go to her property this week to do an assessment. We're going to go there and do an assessment. And we're going to see what's going on, what needs to be done, etc. From there. And we're going to go back there right after we finish with CARICOM, and we're going to demolish that. Right? So just letting you know. So I'm going to go there on Tuesday, and so I'm going to know the time by tomorrow. So it's going to phone lines and I'll continue. Good afternoon, you're live.
Mr. Bento.
How you doing?
Everything good. First time calling.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, I give up my support though. And what I'm about to tell you, that same video what you just show on the Steve McKinney show.
Yes.
You need to send that viral. Or I don't think too much people see that.
Wow.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think too much people know that.
Yeah.
Right? And like I say, that you need to try to get that out more.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And Brave talking to people threatening. I mean, I don't want to kill Brave. We want to see him himself. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I saw them, I trust me, I have a big coup.
All right. Sounds good.
I will hear you in short order.
Thank you, man.
No problem, brother.
All right. And so we're going on Tuesday. And so I think I can set it up from now. So if persons, the sun goes down at 6, if persons could meet me on time at, hold on one sec. If persons could meet me on time at 5 o'clock, on Tuesday at Bacardi Park, by the Rat Bat. If presidents could meet me there at 5 o'clock, we need real men to stand up for our country, to stand up for our women, etc. If you can meet me there at 5 o'clock on Tuesday, we're going to go to do the assessment. We're going to see how much buildings need to be broken down, what kind of bulldozers we need, etc. And then we're going to come back after CARICOM and we're going to break it down. But we're going to go there to do the assessment. So as many of you who can come, we'd love for you to come. I'll go myself if I have to. Because if I got to stand up for this country myself and stand up in front of Goliath and all the Philistines, I could do that. But we're looking for as many of you to stand up with us as possible, men, women, whoever. I want you to see this, to see how these people just took over a Bahamian's land. Told her they will kick her ass, is their words. Broke down her house that's on the land and built theirs. Let me go to the phone lines. Good afternoon, you're live. You're live, go ahead.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm calling. Did you notice the fire, what happened, I think, earlier today?
Yes, I spoke about it earlier in my life.
Right. Did you hear the background noise, right?
Yeah, I hear the background nonsense that it may be connected to the COI, etc. And we expect the ignorant PLPs, because in order for you to still be following the PLP, you have to be less than the average. You have to be one of the fools or being paid to really follow that nonsense.
But let's take it a little step further, because I watch how they dealt with you and how they say, okay, everything was done by law and order and this and that. But there was plenty laws that was broken, and there was police present, given the news, I guess, whatever interview to eyewitness news about the homes that was lost. Well, in my personal opinion, it wasn't homes that was lost, because I don't think that's a constituency, right? I'm just asking, is that a constituency?
No, it isn't, and that's an illegal development.
So I'm asking here another question. That's why I say we are not talking the proper kind of talk. I'm asking because Keith Bell, when he addressed you, as a criminal. And I take offense to that. So now let's reverse, because I can put up the pressure if I have to do that myself. Because I never hold my life and use that. It ain't nothing. I know who I'm voting for this time. But I'm saying when they address you as a criminal, or if they don't use certain manner, they put it in people's head that you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
I want to make this clear. If that was an illegal establishment, because it's not a constituency, I cannot look up on the map and direct you to where this place is, not unless I say go to this corner or go to this bush. As far as I can say, constituency is beyond a map, right? Follow me. When they was the people that get burned out of there, they get burned out of there because they was not following house codes and stuff like that. Am I right?
Yeah, they said someone left a stove on. The PLP is saying that I burned it down.
No, it's fine what they saying about you, because again, they're addressing you as a criminal. This is where I take issues at. I'm asking you, regardless, okay, let's just say I have a home and my house catch a fire. And somebody can call and say, okay, come to Drake Avenue, house number 4 or 5. My house is made out of bricks. I have a firewall in my house. Even if I rent on my next side, the fire will be contained. Am I supposed to talk in sense, yes or no?
Sense.
Okay, now here's what I'm going with this. If a fire truck and ambulance and all of these places get diverted to an illegal gathering, what I call that, like what they said to you, an illegal gathering, they got pointed out to a place that was burned down and the police went there. Here's my biggest thing. How come there was no immigration officers? How come it wasn't no, I'm not listening to, I lost my pay, because if you focus on something you could get back, then I still think that's a crime scene. Regardless of how the human factor would say, you see how the users get consumed? It's a crime scene. Because I'm saying you have lawbreakers here, but you have the law representing the lawbreakers. And then here's what really choked me out. They say our tax taxpayers' money is coming to them to see what they could do to the lawbreakers. Could somebody in the Bahamas make me understand how do that make sense? Because if you want a piece of land and you construct something, that is considered illegal, right? So we have a lot of illegal things going on there. I'm only asking you. You had a lot of illegal things going on after there. Why is everybody so concerned about their papers? And if you was doing it right, you could have gone and recouped them papers. You understand? Why was nobody arrested? Why was nobody questioned? And why we is only there to help? And then we have to spend our, you see where, that's why I say, the guy would call you from Atlanta.
Okay.
You all have to talk about the, like, you speaking, my friend, but I'm saying the way they treat you, you finessing it. You have to open the people, my people eyes who down there, open their eyes that they doing it in pure clear day. Yeah, you have sympathy for it, but if the house was built up in codes, that fire would have been contained if it was only one house. You had the space, the concrete would have, you know what I mean? It would have kept the fire unknown, the firewall would have kept it to one house. But because they break the law and listen to the way they talk, I believe on this, listen to the way they talk. And yes, to me, the number one crime. Nobody picked this up. The man said, I was living in that condition for 30-something years. I witnessed you got that on record. You were breaking the law for 30 because that is not in our building code. It's not, and you're not a constituency of the Bahamas. Because I cannot look at a map and say, okay, this is your constituency. And here's what I'm saying. If somebody in there have a voter's card, that goes beyond who issued the voter card. That goes to the party who they voted for. You know why?
Why?
Because it's not a constituency. How people who live in a constituency, I mean, in a non-constituency vote. You have a case.
Yes.
You're looking at it wrong. You have a case, but I can keep quiet and let you listen. You have, my friend, you have a case. Just look, do what you're doing, but look at it the other way. You have a strong case to go to the court. You have a case.
Thank you, man.
Even just like that, okay.
You're on point. Thank you, man. We appreciate it. I was appalled by the fact that the police was there, but they were not there asking people for their papers, which shows you that they're not serious. They were not there asking people for their papers to see if they were legal or anything. They know it's a legal shanty town. That means people are committing a crime by being there, by building there, etc. But they didn't do any investigation. And that shows you that they're not interested. They know those people probably paid so-and-so politician, and if you touch them, you could get transferred or you mightn't get a promotion. So they ain't getting in that. That's the country we live in. They say the things that I'm doing is wrong. They are feeding people the wrong information, lies about the things that we are doing. All we're doing is standing up for our country. We don't hate anyone else. We just love ourselves. I love this Bahamas. And I love my Bahamian people. I love my Bahamian people. I met with someone I went to college with the other day. She's a lawyer now. When I say college, I went to University of Buckingham with her law school. And she's a lawyer now, a practicing lawyer. And she was one who contributed to helping the government put together that VAT thing. And she worked at a financial company also. So she's very prominent. And she reminded me of something I didn't remember. And that was, they had a Bahamian organization there at Buckingham University, and they were having a banquet in order to raise money, etc. And the majority of the students, almost all of them, couldn't afford to pay for a banquet. And, this after they planned it, everyone planned it, it was gung-ho, and they couldn't afford to pay for the ticket to go to the banquet. And she was like, well, if you can't pay, you can't come, and that's it, and that's all. And she was the president, and she was like, well, too bad. She doesn't care. They just can't come. And she reminded me that I said, no. These are Bahamian people. And they're in college. They're far away from home. And it's rough. And I told her that I would pay for every single soul to attend that banquet that was a fundraiser to put together. And this is when I just come to the school. And she said, that changed her whole mindset. She said that inspired her, not because I gave them money, but because I cared for those people. I care about my Bahamian people. When I went to college in Florida, at Florida Memorial College, we put some things in place to benefit our people. I remember a lot of students couldn't afford to be there. And I remember going in the bathroom and laying on the floor and praying to God to give me the opportunity to fight for my people, to help them. Just give them something to help them. And I was just kind of the police force. I had no money to give to nobody or nothing like that then. It was different when I went to school because I was a businessman when I went to law school. But we were able to put together businesses. We were able to get persons hired, get scholarships for persons in that school. We were able to get an endowment fund, giving Marxists an endowment fund that they should have had access to, but they wasn't getting access to. And this is the kind of stuff I've been doing. And, people will always talk about negative about you, but they wouldn't know about the good. They won't spread the good. They'll keep that quiet because they just want to attack you. And I did it because I love my people. And so some people might think that I don't do things the way they would do it, that I take a strong stance and that the things I'm doing it wrong. But I'm doing it because I love my nation. And that's the only reason I'm doing this stuff. I'm doing it because I love my Bahamian people. It's simple as that. This is not a new thing for me. I've been fighting for the Bahamian people for over 20 years. I've been giving back to the Bahamian people for over 20 years. When I started making money as a businessman, I started giving back. I started giving people money to open businesses. One person I gave over $500,000 to open a business. One young person. I did that because our people could not get business loans at the time. And I wanted to give back and help my people. And this is some of the stuff that I've done and been doing. And so what they think I'm doing is wrong, then so be it. I want to say this to all of my Bahamian people. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. If being right means being without you, I'd rather live a wrongdoing life. Mommy and daddy and the politician say it's a shame. It's a downright disgrace what I'm doing. But as long as I got you by my side, I don't care what them people say. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. I'm fighting for my country. I'm fighting for my people. And who don't like it, go to some other country and live. In the meantime, I will be fighting for my people. All right? So let's come out to CARICOM on the 15th and let's show Brave the real wave. Let's show him how serious we are. Let's show him that we are ready for change in this country. And lastly, I want to say, this is a little update. I had a gentleman on this show, and he was talking about his experience with Glennisana Martin. And I've been able to do some investigations since then and look into a few things. And based on what I'm seeing, Glennisana Martin had turned over, even before he came on the show, the file to another lawyer. And he was still going after her as if she still had something for him. And she says that she turned everything over to another lawyer and that she is not guilty of the things that he was saying. All right. And since then, he's also said that Glennisana Martin has turned, someone told him Glennisana Martin turned the stuff over to Maria Daxon. And he, went to her office and went after her and was saying Glennisana Martin gave the paperwork to you. He may have been mistaken because Glennis gave it to another lawyer he went to. So I don't know what that is, but I just wanted to update you that I cannot confirm the things he's saying based on information that I'm getting. And I just wanted to come back to you and update you on that and let you know that as far as I know, Glennisana Martin turned it over as far as she's saying. And so as far as I'm concerned on that one, she's vindicated. I will never stand on the side of wrong. I don't see where his information as it relates to Glennis lines up. And so I just want to leave it like that. All right. So for Glynis, you turn what you had to do. You turn what you had to turn over, and keep doing what you're doing and moving on from that. And for that gentleman, we pray that you get your justice. And if we can help you in any way, we are glad to do so. But you need to go to the lawyer you had previously that Glynis Adam Martin said she turned the stuff over to. And it's simple as that. All right. So that's it. So want to move on. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to CARICOM. We are going to let the world know what's happening in this Bahamas. Our land is being taken from us. Our land is being ripped from us by illegal invaders, by criminals who land here illegally. I think we lost. I think we lost. You can't see me anymore. I think you can still hear me, but I don't think you can see me anymore. Having a technical difficulty there. I think the device ran out of juice. So just give me a second to get juice back to this device so we can get back up. So just give me 1 second. I'll get that back up for you very quickly. Very quickly. In the meantime, I'm just going to play a video to remind you of where we are and where we should be.
I don't know how you did this in 50 years. You look at history. Who does this? Show me anybody else that has done this in 50 years. I'm waiting. Show them to me. This wasn't done by money. Money doesn't produce visions. Visions produce money. You've had leadership over here that were visionaries, great visionaries, and their vision was more about the people than the money, because you can't accomplish this in 50 years without loving your people first, because the people are the ones that's benefiting from this. Look at your health care. Look at your road system. Look at your highway system. Look at your airports. Who does this in 50 years? But who benefits? You're going to care about those people. It's something to be learned about what's been done over here that could be duplicated in the world, because there's people with this much money. You just don't have people with this much love for their people.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about those technical difficulties. We got someone on the phone line. Good afternoon, you're live.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Bain. Thank you for everything you do for us. But later on Tuesday or yesterday, you did mention something about Mr. Bell. You were bringing something to the table on it.
Yes. I actually have full audio of a meeting that Bell had with NIB. That's an hour audio. So what we're trying to do is pluck the relevant stuff from it. And we were trying to investigate some things before we release that. And so by Tuesday, we're going to be able to release that to the Bahamian public, because we wanted to know why Keith Bell, the Minister of Immigration, was meeting on behalf of these people with NIB. And so we were able to do some stuff, and we should have that edited and ready to go by Tuesday.
Okay, so thank you very much. Have a good night.
All right, thank you too, man.
Okay.
All right, so we are live. I see Gabriel Arnett says, how could you play Bill Clinton? Yeah, Bill Clinton was accused of some stuff for that, and I'm not endorsing Bill Clinton at all, but he was given his point of view about what he experienced there and some of the things and what some of the problems are. You should be able to listen to people who have information. It doesn't matter if If you like them or don't like them, if they're good or evil, anyone could have information. That's how you have to learn to treat information. And that's why I let you hear from Bill Clinton on what he feels is going on in Haiti. And much of what he says might just be his opinion, but you have to learn to take information from anybody. You know, a drug dealer could give you good advice. They can. A rapist can give you good advice. All right. You can take the good and leave the bad. As simple as that. All right. And so that's it. And so we just wanted to inform you. But ladies and gentlemen, again, meet me Tuesday at 5 o'clock at Bacardi Park. And we're going to leave there promptly at 5. And we're going to do assessment of that Haitian village. I'm meeting with the owner tomorrow. And we're going to do an assessment of that Haitian village. We're going to look around, give them their final warnings, and let them know they got to pack up and get off this land. But we're going to look and see what all has to be bulldozed, what has to be done. And again, this is her doing it. This is her land, and this is her doing it. All right. And so we are making sure that we are there as peacekeepers, and to make sure that we are defending our Bahamian lady who helped build this country. Because we got to stand up. Because I can tell you one thing: if any Bahamian had tried that in Haiti, they wouldn't have been alive to talk with it. They would have eaten them alive, literally. All right. So we got to stand up and we got to make the change. We got to be the change that we want to see. As simple as that. And again, I love my country and I love my people. And that's it. And that's all. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let's make sure we're there. Again, I'm going to see the Commissioner of Police in the morning. I'm going to go to see him at 9 o'clock in the morning to see what he has to say about all this stuff that's going on and what he wants from me. I guess he won't tell me don't let y'all curse out the Prime Minister next time. Listen, man, there's freedom of speech. As long as you don't see anything as a crime, there's freedom of speech. If y'all want to row him, shout at him, do whatever you want to do, you just can't say, that you want to kill him or that you're going to kill him. But you can tell him whatever you're feeling. That's your right to do so. All right? And as simple as that. Who don't like it? Too bad. When people hurting, they cry out. And you can't tell people how to express what they are feeling. Simple as that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank all of y'all. I know I should have looked at some of the texts and read some of your texts. I'll start doing that more from next time. I normally focus on the phone calls, but I'll start doing that from next time. All right. So I'll see you again on Tuesday, where we're going to go live and we're going to bring that audio to you so you can know exactly what the government is up to. All right. So thank you so much for that. We got a country to save. Let's do what we have to do. Let's defend this. They're going to paint me as a big bad wolf. I don't mind being vilified to save this country. I don't mind being attacked. I don't mind being threatened to save this country. I don't even mind taking a bullet to save this country. Someone got to do it. Payments, let's stop being soft before it's gone. And they start saying, oh, it's too late. You all wait too long to stand up. Stand up now, please. Calcom, February 15th. Let's stand up. Good night.
A lot of people wonder how Dubai became a very big, famous, and rich city.
You see, if you're comparing with Nigeria, listen to this. Nigeria has oil before than Dubai. It's a history. They are more rich than us. They have agriculture, they have mining, they have everything, you name it, they have it. Am I right or wrong? When you have a true leadership, which we have nothing, but we have everything because we have the right leadership. That's the only thing you need, a right leader for your country, not corruption. That's what brings your country at the top. You don't need anything. We want water. We don't have agriculture. We don't have mining.
That's quite interesting.
And that's Sheikh Mohammed. Number one. He doesn't know number two. He needs only number one. He says, I don't know. There's no number two in my book. Only number one.
I hear he doesn't ride in a convoy.
Let me just say,
that I have always been a part of this community. And there's no accident I know how to do all the dancing. Because I always be and share with you. Because you are me and I am you. And I'll be here with you always. And those who knew me from the past and know me now, they always knew that I was there and always been there for you. I don't call you all, no, you all are not Haitians, Bahamians. You are Bahamian, and your origin is Haitian. Mine too, and many of us. We have to stay apart for now so we can be together later. In on now.
Are you all ready?
And I can't let that coward have the last word, but that is the coward prime minister, as you heard the gentleman from Dubai say. The emir of Dubai does not even ride in a convoy. He doesn't have a bunch of big security guards around him. Brave Davis does. He had about 30 police around him, protecting him. What is he afraid of? His own people? If you are afraid that your own people are standing up against you, maybe you should step down. It's simple as that. CARICOM, February 15th. Change ain't coming, change is here. See you next time.